Summer 2010, London, England. Inside a quiet apartment, something unusual is discovered. A bathtub. Inside it, a locked bag. Inside, a man is found. The door was locked with no sign of entry. Everything seemed normal, except one thing. He could not have put himself there. The case was ruled an accident, but even now, very few people believe it. Gareth Williams was a mathematician at the government communications headquarters. He specialized in code breaking and intelligence analysis, working with highly sensitive information. At the time, he was stationed in London, working alongside intelligence agencies. He was known to be quiet and extremely private. He kept his personal life separate from his work. Then one day, everything stopped. He did not show up for work and he did not respond to messages. Days passed with no calls and no contact. At first, his colleagues assumed it was something personal. But as time went on, that silence began to feel wrong. Eventually, they went to his apartment. From that moment, the case began to unfold in a way no one expected. The apartment door was locked from the inside with no signs of forced entry. There was no damage, no broken windows, and everything inside appeared intact. The windows were closed, and there was no indication that anyone had entered. All the evidence pointed to one conclusion: no one had come in. It was a closed space, completely sealed, and yet, inside that space, something had happened. This was not a simple disappearance. There was a gap, something missing, something that did not connect. Soon, that gap would take shape in a way no one could explain. Inside the bathroom, there was a small bathtub. Inside it, a red sports bag. At first glance, it seemed ordinary, but up close, something felt wrong. The zipper was closed, and the bag was secured with a small padlock. When it was opened, Gareth Williams was found inside. His body was tightly folded, compressed into a position that felt unnatural, almost impossible to achieve alone. Then came the detail that changed everything: the lock. It had been secured from the outside. This was not a simple accident. It raised a question, not a small one, but a question that should not exist. How did he get inside? And more importantly, who locked it? Experts attempted to recreate the scenario, conducting repeated tests and simulations to understand how it could have happened. The conclusion was not unclear. It was disturbing, not uncertain, but clearly disturbing, because it pointed to something impossible. It was nearly impossible for someone to enter the bag alone, and more importantly, locking it from the inside could not be explained. This was not a mistake. It suggested external involvement. But that created another problem. There was no evidence of anyone else being there. No fingerprints, no signs of entry, no trace of movement. Nothing. The evidence suggested two things at the same time: that someone had been there, and that no one had. The scene was unusually clean. The bathroom, the bag, and the surrounding space showed almost no fingerprints. The traces that should have been there were simply not there. It did not feel natural. It felt controlled, carefully and deliberately, as if someone had decided what should remain and what should not. And yet, the official statement moved in a different direction. The case was ruled an accident. The inconsistencies were not fully explored. The investigation began to narrow. Questions remained, but answers did not follow. Slowly the case appeared to close, even though nothing had truly been explained. Gareth Williams was not an ordinary individual. He had access to classified information. His work was not public, and it was not routine. Because of that, the case began to shift. Some believed there was involvement from intelligence agencies. Others suggested external actors. But none of these theories were officially confirmed. Much of the information remained restricted. Details were withheld. The core of the case remained hidden. What was left behind was uncertainty, unverified connections, and unanswered questions. A truth that seemed to move further away over time. The official conclusion was that it was an accident, that he entered the bag himself and died inside. But this explanation does not resolve the contradictions. Why was the bag locked? Why were there no traces? And why can the scenario not be recreated? These questions remain unanswered. The case was closed, but the logic was not complete. A sealed space, a missing explanation, and a sequence that does not connect. Something does not fit. Even now, this case remains unresolved. A locked room with no signs of entry and a death that cannot be explained. The Gareth Williams case was given a conclusion, but the truth was left behind. Someone may have known. Someone may have understood what really happened in that room. But those answers were never shared. And even now the question remains, was he truly alone? Or was there someone else inside that space? Someone who was never seen, someone who left no trace, and maybe someone who was never meant to be found.
This story ends here, but in the darkness, stories remain. Will you stay for the next one? Dark Case Hub.